の人はどうです？
知らない。
これはあなたですよ。
Don't forget folks, before we go any further, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the bell and all that jibber jabber, and thank you very much for supporting Invincible Asia. Japanese director Kiyoshi Kurosawa's mesmerizing and chilling 1997 horror thriller Cure is a film that unnerves today as much as it did upon release almost 3 decades ago. Recently restored and released on 4K UHD by Eureka Video, the story follows a troubled detective who is investigating a string of gruesome murders throughout the city, where each of the victims have been found with an X carved into their necks. Oddly, the murderer of each one is found just nearby or with the victim, confused about what they did but cannot remember why. Now, Detective Takabe must connect the dots before it's too late, while trying to keep his own life together and put a stop to the mysterious and brutal killings once and for all. The first Kiyoshi Kurosawa film I had ever seen was Pulse in 2001, followed by his earlier work, Sweet Home from 1989, sometime later, both of which made their own impact on me in regard to the talents of this horror director. But it's only with the new Eureka Video release of Cure on 4K UHD that I'm getting round to seeing this incredible, having missed their initial Blu-ray release just a couple of years previous. And what an experience it was, not to mention a stunning restoration also. While the film itself has a simple enough, not to mention slow-burning story, Kurosawa delivers it in such a way that keeps you glued to the screen and, quite often, on the edge of your seat. Without revealing too much on screen, Kiyoshi allows viewers to use their own imagination to try and figure things out, while gently guiding us through the killings and the mental torture of Detective Takabe. His subtle yet clever direction is accompanied by some stunning cinematography that helps elevate your viewing pleasure, while at the same time playing with your mind and leaving you feeling slightly uneasy at the realistic approach and story. It is, in essence, a masterpiece to some degree. Needless to say, I will be investing in more titles from him, with over 60 directorial efforts to his name, including his latest psychological thriller, Cloud, which carries a lot of similarities to Cure, with Kurosawa's signature style, atmospheric tension, and striking visuals. In Cure, the captivating and haunting visuals are thanks to cinematographer Tokusho Kikimura, a lensman who had been working on the scene for a good 7 years prior, although mostly on many titles belonging to the pink cinema genre, as well as Kurosawa's very own Yakuza Taxi and Suit Yourself or Shoot Yourself, The Heist. But his work here in Cure is perhaps some of his most memorable and engaging, almost becoming as important to the film than the actors themselves, and highlighting him as the man with an eye that would go on to see him work for director Hideo Nakata on films such as Chaos, Takashi Shimizu on Ju-on the Grudge and its sequel, Renpei Tsukamoto's One Missed Call Part 2, Kiyoshi Yamamoto's horror film Misuchi, and others such as Happy Dining Table, Apartment 1303, Death Note, L Changed the World, Flower and Sword, and many others. While everyone involved does a fantastic job in their performances, it's only fair to say that the focus is on 2 main characters, Detective Takabe, played by the fantastic Koji Yakusho, and supposed killer Kunio Mamiya, played wonderfully by Masato Hagiwara. Born as Koji Hashimoto, the prolific star took on the name of Yakusho after he began acting. Throughout his career, which began in television, Koji went on to impress in films such as Tom Popo, The Eel, Lost Paradise, Shall We Dance, which was such a big hit that it inspired a ballroom dance craze across the country. Later he would star in 13 Assassins, The Third Murder, The Blood of Wolves, and again for Kiyoshi Kurosawa in Pulse in 2001. In Cure, Yakusho delivers one of his finest and most memorable performances as Detective Takabe, and is as gripping to watch as the madman he is after. As the evil and psychologically disturbed Mamiya, co-star Masato Hagiwara holds your attention and, while not as physically threatening as one would imagine a serial killer to be, still makes you feel unnerved with the realism he brings to the role. Prior to this, Misato had starred in a number of films and TV shows, but there's no doubt at all that Cure sent his career flying, going on to star in over 140 titles to date through a mix of film, television, and anime productions. While some believe it to be inspired by the cult-led sarin gas attacks in the Tokyo subway in 1997, this horrendous event in fact happened while the film was in production. This act of violence saw the production's name change from Evangelist to Cure to avoid suggesting that a religious cult was indeed connected to the crimes in the story. Regardless, upon its release, Cure went on to receive very positive reviews and praise from critics at the time, with many hailing it as the trigger for the hugely popular J-horror craze that quickly followed soon after with films such as Ringu, Ju-on the Grudge, Uzumaki, Dark Water, Audition, and many others. In fact, Oscar-winning South Korean director Bong Joon-ho hails Cure as one of the greatest films of all time and lists it in his top 10 favourites, while Martin Scorsese called it Kurosawa's most terrifying movie. And it's easy to see why. Delivered like the perfect depiction of madness, Cure is beautifully shot, directed, and acted, leaving you both in awe and feeling uneasy with its all too realistic and gripping storyline.